Hi Jagadeesh, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Srika.
Jagadeesh, could you please open your PPT?
Yeah, Srika. So here it is my PPT, Srika. So I'm going to explain the user variable topic. So, user variable act as a filter in forms. So by enabling users to focus only on certain members. So user variables created by the administrator only. Coming to the next slide. So in this topic, we'll be able to show us the usage of user variable in the following artifact, like in data forms, like in runtime prompts, like in business rules, in SmartView also. So let me go to the next slide. So in this slide, we'll tell you creation of user variable. So what is the use of the user variable? So by use the user variable, we can set user variable to limit the members of the displayed on the form by helping users to focus on the certain members. The next question is the what is the difference between the user variable and substitution variable? The substitution variables are global placeholders for the regularly changing the information. So change will impact only the all the users accessing the application. So user variables are just like the substitution variable. So change will impact only the other user. So the next question is the which use case do you use user variable over the substitution variable? So user cannot have access to change the substitution variable. So user cannot use the substitution variable. So that's why user use the variable over the substitution variable. So can you show me how to use the create user variable form following use cases? So let me show you in the application how to use the create user variable form in the following use case. So let me go to the application, open the application. So in this application, open the tools cluster. So there is a variable card, click on variable card. So in this variable card, there are two options. One is the user variable, another is the substitution variable. So user variable, if you want to create the new one, click on add icon to, you can create the new variable. So let me go to the PPT presentation. So, so note is the, since we don't have list of users in the application, try to explain how user variable behaves by using the administrator user only by using this use case assumptions below. So I am going to create on the by the admin user. So let me create the use case one. So in the use case one, assume user one is the owner of the any two entities. Assign those two entities as values to the entity dimension. So let me create the use case one. So go to the application. So in this variable section, we can create by clicking the add icon. So one more row will be added to the in the user variable section. So if you want to create which dimension you want to create, I'm going to select the entity dimension because the you can select the entities. So I'm going to select the entity dimension. Go to the application. So I'm going to select the entity dimension which you want. So I'm going to give the name user entity 3. So the user variable, I am going to select the members in the user entity dimension. Click on member selector. So expand the total geography. So expand the segments. So expand the EN01. So I'm going to select the France and UK. So click OK to select the members. So after that, click on save. So the records, the variables are saved successfully. After that, click OK. So after creating the user variables, you must create the user preference. So if you want to create the user preference, click on user preference card. Click user preference card. So the user preference will be opened. What you create in the previously, I am created the user entity. So I can select one member. So click on your member selector. So expand the total geography. So expand the segments. So expand the EN01. So I'm going to select the France. So click select the France. Click OK. Now I'm saving this one. The user preference also has been saved. Click OK. So let me move on to the slide PPT presentation. So this slide will complete the goal. Then I'm going to explain the next slide. So usage of user variable in the data forms. So can you reuse the any of the data forms and show me how to use the user variable as per the use case one from this slide. So I'm going to create the already existing one. So reuse form. So I'm going to let me show you in the application how to create the user variable in the form. Go to the form. So in the navigator icon, under the create and manage menu, there is a forms card. Click on forms card. So here is the free different forms. I'm going to explain the user variable form. Click on user variable form and click on edit. So under this next, you can select the layout. So here it is the form. So in the point of view, I'm taking the other dimensions as generation two members. The generation two members are nothing but the what you are taking in the parent under the childs. The childs are nothing but the under generation two members. Likewise, we are taking the other dimensions also. So in these rows, I'm taking the account. So I'm going to take an entity in this hard coded one. Click on save. So this is the hard coded one. If I click preview, the form will open with hard coded one. That is the Singapore. But in the user variable, I am selected the France. So if you want to use that user variable, click on add column. So in this, I am going to select the user variable what you previously created in the user variable section. So click on edit. So under the member selection, there is a variable tab. Click on variable tab. So here it is. There are the user variables. I am previously created the user entity 3. So just I am going to remove this one. So I am going to add user entity 3. Click on add. So it will be added to the entity. So that is the user entity followed by the ampersand symbol. So next I am going to click OK. So click on save. The form has been saved. Click OK. So click on preview. So this form will open with the hard coded one and uh, user variable. So what you selected in the user variable section, I am going to select the en01 underscore g1 as the France. Let me go to the uh, PPT presentation. So can you explain the how user can access the data form which created based on the above question? So the data form, the user can access the data form like in this way. So in this hard coded one, in this is the user variable one. Likewise, user can access this form. So let me go to the slide in this. So in detail, how the entities are restricted to the two entities of ownership. So let me show in the how the restricted the entities in the application. Go to the application. So you can restrict the by using the user reference, user preference. Click on user preference. So this tab will be opened. So I'm going to restrict the France to UK. Let me go to the member selector. So I'm going to select the member selector as UK. So I'm taking the UK now. Click OK. The user variable selected. After that, you click on save. So user preference also has been saved. Click OK. Now, now you can observe these changes in the forms. Go to the forms. Under the create and management, there is a form icon. Click on forms. So in this, I am going to click on substitution variable from existing one. Click on edit. So click on preview. So I am changing the substitution variable. So let me open not substitution variable, user variable. Let me open the user variable form. Go to the navigator, go to the form. So I'm going to open the user variable form. Click OK. So now I'm going to preview. So here we can change this, observe the UK. It will changes the France to UK. So likewise, you can restrict the data by using the user variable and user preferences. So let me go to the PPT presentation. So in this, should user one supposed to access the any of the entities other than the two entities he owns in the data form? No, because we can't access the any of the entities other than the two entities. You can select only the two entities in the user variable. That's why you can only access these two entities only. So what is the user requirement is, can you show me how to enable the dynamic user variable in the form? So let me show you how to enable the user variable in the dynamic user variable in the form. Let me show you in the application. Go to the application. Click cancel. So in the form, there is a other option section. So here it is. You can enable dynamic user variable by clicking the enable. So you can enable or you can disable it. If you enable, so you must add to the user variable into the selected one. So click on add it to user entity 3. Click on remove this one. So after that, click on save. So the form has been saved successfully. So let me go to the uh, PPT presentation. So that second point is take any parent entity as an example. Show me how only the children for that parent entity are filtered on the data form. So let me show in the application the how the parent entities and children are created in the user variable section. Let me go to the application. Click on cancel. So go to the variable section. So I'm going to create the another one. Click on user. Click if you want to create the user variable. Click on plus icon. So you can select the dimension. I'm going to select the entity. So I'm going to give the name as user entity 4. User entity 4. So I'm going to select the members as children's. So let me select the member selector. So in this member selector, so expand the total geography. So expand the segments. So expand en01. So in this en01, I'm going to select these 6 members. So if you want to select these 6 members, click on functionality selector. So I'm going to select the level 0 descendants. It is nothing but the children's. Click OK. So the selection was made successful. Then click on OK. So I'm going to take in the level 0 descendants on en01. Let me save this one. The records are saved successfully. Click OK. So if you want to, after creating this user entity, you should give the user preference anything you select at least one member. So go to the user preference. So in this user preference, so let me select one entity. So let's go to the total geography, expand the total geography, expand the segments. So expand the en01. So you can select any one of the member. So I'm going to select en03. So click OK. Click save. So the user preference has been saved successfully. Click OK. Now let me go to the forms and you can observe the you can observe the children's what you have in the en01. So in this navigator icon, there is a create and manage menu. Under the create and manage menu, there is a forms section. Click on forms. Here it is the forms. I'm going to create existing one. I'm going to modify this one. Click on edit. So in the properties, you can select the layout. So in this layout, I'm going to select the user variable what you created the previously. I'm going to create the user entity 4. Let me select by clicking on edit option. Click on edit. So expand in this member selector. Click on variables. So here it is the user variables. So I'm going to select user entity 4. First, you should remove this one. So I'm going to add entity 4. Click add. So the entity 4 is added to the entities with the ampersand symbol. Click OK. So now entity 4 is added successfully. Let me save this one. The form has been saved. Let me enable the dynamic variable in the other options section. Click on other options section. So you should enable the dynamic other option and also you should add it to the user variable. I am previously created the user entity 4. So that's why I'm adding to the user variable. Click add. So remove this one, user entity 2. So let me save this one. The form has been saved. Click OK. Let me preview this form. So in this form, the user preference has taken as en01 underscore en03 underscore Singapore. So if you want to change the children, if you want to see the children in the form, let me check in the by you click on arrow mark under the user entity. You can click on the member selector. So here it is the children's are there. So in the what you selected in the user variable on level 0 descendants members, these members are appear in this form. So likewise you can create. So click on OK. So you can select any one of the member, any one of the child also. Cancel. Let me go to the PPT presentation. So the reference link, YouTube link will be given below. So you can access the link to, you can create user variable and also you can manage the user variables. So the last point is that when the data form is saved, the business rule should be run only in the context of entity selection made. So let me show you the business rules, how to run the business rules in the application. Go to the application. So open the form. On the navigator, there is a forms. So let me open the user variable form 1. Click on edit. So in the business rules tab, click on business rule tab. So here it is the business rules. If you want to add the business rule, click on any one of the rule and click on add. You can add. If you want to remove, you can remove all. So if you want to add, I am going to add consolidate. Click on add. So I am going to translate. Click on add. So I'm going to take these two rules. So if you want to run before load, you can select this one. If you want to run after the load, you can run this one. So if you want to run before the saving the form, if you should enable this one. So I'm going to take these two because I'm going to run these two things to consolidate and translate. I'm going to save after the save. I have to run these two things. So I'm going to enable this one. And also these two things are added into the members in the form. So let me show you how these forms are added into the uh, consolidate and translate in the form. Go to save. So let me check these consolidate translate are added in the form or not. Go to the data card. In under the dashboards, there is a data card. Click on data card. So I'm going to open the existing one user variable. So here in the user variable form, here is the action step. In the action step, there is a business rules option. Click on business rules option. Here you can observe the business rules what you selected in the previous form page. So you can consolidate or you can translate by using this option. You can run the business rules. Click close. So let me go to the PPT presentation. The next slide is the can you use a user variable in the runtime prompt? Yes, you can use the user variable in the runtime prompt. If yes, can you limit the user variable in the runtime prompt to able to restrict the user one from the accessing the entities in the other than EC owns, and also use the runtime prompt in the business rule. It shows me how it works. Let me show in this application how the runtime prompt in the business rules how it works. Let me go to the application. So in the application, go to the navigator. There is a rules card under the create and manage menu. Under the create and manage menu, there is a rules card. Click on rules card. So the calculation manager will be opened. After open, so go to the PPT. So can you limit the user variable in the runtime prompt to be able to restrict the user one from the accessing the entities other than the, so you can restrict the by using the user variable name. So I'm going to give the user variable name in the runtime prompt and variables. So let me go to the calculation manager. So if you want to create, click on actions variable in the variable designer. So expand the APM cloud. So in this APM cloud, there are two options. One is global, one is FCCS. The global is nothing but you can access the global level. So FCCS is nothing but you can access only within the application. Globally, in the global, you can access all cubes and rates and console. So in this FCCS, you can access only the console. Let me go to the global. So in this global, I am going to create the one more variable. So if you want to create one more variable, so you must select create actions menu. So click on new. So you should take one more entity user entity one. So you should select the type as member. After this, the dimension type will be appear. So you should select the dimension. So I'm going to select in this case as entity. So after selecting the dimension type, you should enable the runtime prompt. So you should enable. So after enabling this, you should give the limits. So I'm going to limit the user variable. So you can give the user variable name. So user variable name is nothing but go to the application. So in the application, go to the home page. So in the tools cluster, so there is a variable card. So I'm going to give the user variable name is user entity 3. So I'm going to give this name user entity 3. Let me go to the calculation manager. So I'm going to limit the forward followed by ampersand symbol. So user entity 3 and also default value also same user entity 3. So RTP text is the so select the entity select the user entity. So after giving these names, click on save. So variable saved successfully. So after that, click OK. So let me go to the PPT presentation. So go to the next slide. So can you show me how to use the user variable in the business rule? So let me show you in the application how to use the user variable in the business rule. First, let me go to the application. So in this application, go to the system view. So expand the EPM cloud. So expand the FCCS. So expand the console. So in this console, there is a rules card. Expand the rules. So here it is the free defined rules FCC underscore 10 to FCCS underscore 70. These are the free defined rules. The custom rule 1, custom rule 2, custom rule 3 are these are the custom rules which you have created previously. So I'm going to create a new one. So click on actions, click on new object. So select the application type. I'm going to select the application type as EPM cloud. Application is the FCCS. So cube is the console. So object type is the rule. So I'm going to give the custom rule 4. Click OK. Now custom rule 4 is the created. We click on OK to edit the rule. So let me go to the PPT presentation. So can you explain the what is the advantage does the usage of user variable has over the substitution variable? So advantage is nothing but substitution variables. User cannot modify the substitution variables, but user can modify the user variables over the substitution variable in the business rule. So can you explain the which of the following approach is recommended, not recommended for using entity in business rule? Please explain why if you can. So these are 4 things in this hard coding entity and using user variable of entity and using substitution variable of entity. So using the runtime prompt. I'm going to explain these 4 things in the application. Let me go to the application. So after creating the business rule, you can create the runtime prompts by using the commands. So first go to the values, fix. This is the starting command and also this is the end command and fix. So I am going to give the hard coded one. So if you want to give the hard coded one, you must give the entity name en01 underscore 01. So 0 likewise you can give 02 also. So if you want to create another one is that user variable of entity. So I'm going to give the user variable of entity. Let me go to the application. F5x start comment and also end comment is end fix. So these are where which you want to give in the user variable name. You can give this name in this value. So I'm going to user entity 3. So if you want to give the substitution variable, you can give. So go to the let me check the substitution variable name. So the substitution variable names are current year. So let me go to the application. So fix and fix. So you can give the substitution variable name also followed by ampersand current year. Current year. So likewise, you can give the prompt runtime prompt values. I'm going to give the runtime prompt fix and also end command with end fix. So I'm going to the runtime prompt what you previously created. I'm created just now user entity one. So I'm going to give this one user entity one. Let me copy. So I'm going to paste it here. Open the braces. Click save. So I'm going to give this one for limited the values in the user variable. Click on save. The custom for rule 4 also saved. So like you can observe the rule was created. So you can deploy. First you should validate this one. Click on validate. So if you have any errors, it will prompt. So it will throw an error. If you don't have any errors, it will throw error messages. No errors are found. So let me check. So validation was issued for planning server, calculation method, calculation failed, exemption, business and rule failed, execution season open. Let me check. So fix and user entity one and fix, and let me go to this one. So user entity one copy. So let me save this. Click save. So go to the small system view. So custom rule 4. So fix and unfix. Let me hide. I'm going to hide these three things because I'm in this 4. I am recommended only using the RTP. So I'm going to use only the RTP. So I'm going to give only RTP. Let me validate one time. So if you have any errors, let me. So the rule was validated with no errors. Click OK. So let me deploy into the application. Click on deploy. So let me save first. Let me save. The rule was 4 created. So let me validate once. The starting validation with no errors. So let me validate. So objects are deploying to the application. So the deployment was also successful. Click OK. So if you want to check these values in the application, go to click on cancel. So let me check in application. So after that you can refresh the database. Go to the overview in the application. Under the application there is a overview. So here you can refresh the database. Click on actions. Refresh the database. Click create. So refresh database. Yeah, the database refresh is started. So run in the background. So after the refresh is done, the rule was created in the rule card. Let me check the rule was created successfully or not. Go to the home page. So in this, there is a rule card. So it will take took some time. So I'm going to open the rule card. So I'm just created the custom rule 4. So just now it was appear in the business rules. Let me check the rule was created successfully or not. Click on launch. So the page will be appear. So I'm previously created the select the user entity. So it will be appear. So if you want to limited the values in the user variable, so you can limit it by using these values. Click on select the member. So expand the total geography, expand the segments, expand en01. So en01 underscore 02 UK will be appear because if this is the limited value. So I'm restrict the value by using the runtime prompt. You can restrict, likewise you can run the business rules. So go to the PPT presentation. So going to the next slide. So using the user variable in the smart view, can you explain the how the insert the user variable in the smart view? Let me go to the X. If you want to choose the smart view, let me open the Excel sheet first. So let me open the blank page. So let me connect the smart view first. Click on the panel. You can select the smart view. So let me open the smart view. So click on panel. Click on panel. So here you can connect the smart view by this URL. Click OK. So give the credentials. Click go to log into the smart view. The smart view is connected to the Excel. Click yes. So to expand the library, there is a form. So substitution user variable form. Click. Let me open the user variable form. Click on ad hoc analysis. So the form is open. So let me check the user variable are coming or not. To the user variable name. So user entity 3. Let me check user variable coming or not. So here the data is coming. So whatever there in the user entity user variable data, it will be coming to in the smart view also. Let's go to the PPT presentation. So now, so in this topic, we have concluded so as the usage of user variable in the data forms and runtime prompts and the business rules in the smart view. Yeah, thank you, Srikanth. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Jagadeesh.
Yeah, thank you, Srikanth.
Yeah.